Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are back in Nusa Tenggara in our Jurassic World Evolution 3 campaign. Previously, we were back here and we had a dinosaur enclosure over here, and it was fine. There's a lot of fun things we did with it, but for us, this enclosure is a bit larger than it needs to be. This is for the Spinoraptor, and the Spinoraptors do not have the ability to have juveniles. So the space back here, while it was fun to create and do things like this log dam that we have over here, it is a lot bigger than it really needs to be, which means we can take this apart and we can create something entirely new in our campaign for Jurassic World Evolution 3. Previously when we did this, the space here has a little bit too much concrete and feels like it's more tailored to guests, and I don't want that to be the case over here. So we're going to remove all of this and cut down the space we have for Spinoraptor over here, and then create something that's a little bit more for the staff. This is going to be a space we don't really want to be highlighting. We have these hybrids over here. I don't think that they're supposed to be even existing, so we're going to have these hidden in the back for us to just monitor and take care of here in the park, and leave it less as something to be displayed in the park. Again, when we did this with Nusa Tenggara, we wanted this park to feel a lot more like a research facility on an island here, and less for the tourists. So I'm going to try as much as possible here to not use any kind of buildings that are really going to drive guests here, and more focus on getting faculty and staff into the space we have. I do want to create more of a tunnel that we can have, that we can walk over, and then we can get to maybe some other enclosures that we'll put in the back. We do have the space for it now, so we can do some more over there. But more than anything, I want this to have that very rustic feel as we're going over, and we can look over maybe to the side. We can see that Spinoraptor, but it's not going to be something with the traditional viewing galleries that we might have in other parks in the game. Right, we'll have a little bit of a viewing deck there we can look out, and it's going to be maybe less covered, and then we can just take the path through, make it as straight as possible, and then take it across both sides of this again. Here now, since we have more space we're using, and less for the Spinoraptor, we have more to maybe play with something else. And I have an idea for another dinosaur that we'll put back here today, and one that maybe I feel like hasn't gotten as much love from me personally in the game, but we'll put something over here, maybe a little different than I've done in the past. So we're gonna get a 2-for-1 here, where previously we've done these videos for just one dinosaur added to the campaign. We'll put most of our buildings we need here, and then I want to remove the Jeep tours that we've got over here. Again, I don't want this to be anything focused on tourists and guests. So we're going to use the Hyperloop station to pull this from the beginning of the park to the back here. And maybe just a smaller fence. We'll hide it in some trees. But it doesn't want to be something where I feel like this is advertised to anybody that's coming to visit the park. The Spinoraptor needs a lot of deep water and then a little bit of the shallow water for us to put that fish feeder in there. I don't know why we still need to add a fish feeder if it could just grab food itself in the deep water, but that we have plenty of space here to play with, so we will just add a little bit to the back here. We do have a little bit of an older Spinoraptor in here already, so it's a little bit pickier with its the comfort and what it needs here. So we'll just do that to accommodate our older Spinoraptor that we still have in our park from when we originally did this the first time. We'll add some rock to the bottom of this over here just to make sure we have a little more texture to these when we smooth these out and trying to fit in this viewing deck. It does get a little smoother than I would like it to, so we'll make this a little bit more rugged and rocky, a little more natural on the sides of this the park here in the back. We'll add a couple extra little props in here, make sure we can't get any Jeeps to come through here, and then some of those benches as well. They're not really going to be functioning benches because we don't have any other buildings that guests can, or the staff rather, will be walking towards over there, but still want to have the appearance that people could sit down if they wanted to, but again, very unlikely we're going to get many people actually sitting in the park over here. We're going to use the cover structure that we built a couple islands ago. Take that around all the sides of this where we have that dirt path that people can walk on. That's just going to give us a little bit more of a border around this, and then we'll put some seating, a couple other things, maybe a fountain over here to give this a little bit of a space where our staff could sit, and if they wanted to just grab a seat for a minute, they can do that. But again, we'll just take a fountain, drop that down a little bit, and then we'll add a ton of foliage around it that we can do to make this look a little bit nicer. We'll keep playing with the different kinds of trees and bushes around here. Give it a little bit of diversity, but also want to try to add, don't want to go too crazy with the different kinds of plants here. We'll use a couple different bushes on the sides of these paths here. That'll help it feel a little bit more overgrown, and then we can take a similar thing through our tunnels over here, or our covered spaces here. We can take it over these that we can walk through, and it'll feel a little more overgrown on the sides of it, which I think fits more of the vibe that we're going for with this part of the park here. Over here, we'll just do a couple of different types of environment or nature. We'll use that brush. There's nothing we really need to worry about over here, but we do have the space. We can add another animal in here, and so the one we'll put in over here is just going to be that Dimetrodon. We haven't done a lot with Dimetrodon, so we'll try to do something over here. We'll have two animals here with sails, and two that need deep water, so we'll have that one up a little higher, one that's going to be a little bit lower, and that's Spinoraptor. The Dimetrodons actually can have juveniles, so we'll add a nest in here, and then we'll have that food for them maybe a little bit closer to our paths over here. So I was trying to figure out what we could do to make this a little bit different, and I don't know how different this is going to be, but what we're going to do instead here is we're just going to have a lower ceiling here for the first part of this space with the Dimetrodon where their food is going to be, and then we'll just take this over the sides of this all the way to the end of where our path goes here with this cover, and then on the other, so what we'll do is we'll just have some moss on the top of this, or some ivy. We'll just put some foliage on the top of this here to give it a little bit more natural shading that I haven't done before, but we'll try this and see what this looks like. I'm sure there's other ways to do things like this, but wanted to give it just something where it feels like there's a little bit of light coming in here, but I don't want it to feel like it's the lightest place here. So if our Dimetrodons were getting a little hot, which they don't worry about in this game, they could come over here to get a little bit more of the shade that they might be looking for. We'll put a couple last finishing touches on this. We'll put some bushes around our ranger station here to just hide that a little bit in the Dimetrodon enclosure here, and then again, we'll play a little bit more with the ivy and some foliage that's grown in. But this is going to be what this is going to look like. We came from before where this was a larger space that was a little more open. I felt like it was more friendly to guests. Now I feel like this is a little more tailored towards the staff that we're going for. And now we can also use two different spaces here for Spinoraptor and then also with that Dimetrodon. If you did enjoy this video, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. If you have thoughts on how to elevate this or make this even better, or other dinosaurs we should add to the Nusa Tenggara Park here in Indonesia, feel free to put those in the comments. We're going to continue to play around in Jurassic World Evolution 3, but until then, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next build.